Good morning, students. This is Asha, your social science teacher. In previous lecture, we completed our chapter 1 in Civics, Equality. We have done the complete chapter explanation. Now, today, we'll be doing key terms and we'll be discussing the question and answer of this chapter, the NCERT questions. So, let's move on to key terms. The first key term is equality. What exactly it is? It's abolition of privileges to a group and providing equal opportunities to all persons, inhibiting the state. Here state means country, and abolition of privileges to group means if somebody is rich or he's getting some special privileges, removing them and giving everyone equal opportunity in a country. That is equality. Key elements of democracy. We have already discussed that. There are four key elements of democracy. First is people's participation, the resolution of conflict, equality, and justice. So, people participation in democracy is through different ways, and one of the common way in which we see is universal adult franchise, and the resolution of conflict if there is any issue related to any topic that could be resolved in peaceful and better way, and giving equal rights to everybody and equal opportunities, and justice. Justice is also an important feature of democracy. So now move on to the next key term, which is democracy. A government of people, by the people, and for the people. This is called democracy, in which people are the foremost and important. It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And this particular definition was given by Abraham Lincoln. Now, let's move on to the next, which is universal adult franchise. You are very familiar with it. This is very important aspect of democratic society. In this, everyone who is above the age of 18 have right to vote, irrespective of social or economic background. And one interesting fact, children, do you know earlier when India got independent in 1947 and when we had the first general election, the voting age was 21 years. The voting age for an individual in India was 21. It was way back somewhere in 80s during Rajiv Gandhi government, the voting age was reduced from 21 to 18. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Dignity. This refers to thinking of oneself and other person worthy of respect. Means respecting yourself plus respecting the other one also. Respecting oneself and the other worthy of respect is the dignity, and it is very important. Constitution. This is a document that lays down the basic rules and regulations for people and the government in country to follow. So every democratic country have a constitution, and in that constitution there are rules and regulations for people and the government. You can say it's a rule book according to which a government governs a country. A country is governed, and plus there are some rules and regulation for individual or the people of the country as well. Next is civil rights movement. We have discussed under Rosa Parks incidents, a movement that began somewhere in USA in 1950s, in which African American people demanded equal rights and an end to a racial discrimination. Afro Americans requested for equal rights, and this led to end of racial discrimination which was prevalent in America. Now let's move on to the NCERT questions. You can see here the first question: in democracy, why is universal adult franchise important? So in a democracy, UAF is there, but why it is important? Universal adult franchise is a base on the principle of equality. Yes, because even everybody who is above the age of 18, irrespective of caste, creed, is allowed to vote. So it is the basis of equality. It provides all adults, irrespective of their religion, education, caste, their financial status, the right to vote. Hence, we can say universal adult franchise is essential for democracy. Read it the box on Article 15. State two ways in which article addresses inequality. So, in your book, there is a box list which talks about Article 15. Article 15 deals with the equality. So, the first article, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds of only religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, any of them. And second, no citizen shall on ground only of religion, race, caste, place of birth, or any of them be subject to any disability, liability, condition with regard to access to shop, public places, the use of will. So we need to read this box and answer few questions. So how does this addresses inequality? Article 15 of Indian Constitution addresses inequality in the following ways. So first, in chapter discussion question we discussed ways, the laws which help to remove inequality. No discrimination shall be made against a citizen on the basis of their caste, creed, religion, place of birth. So that is mentioned in Article 15, and it allows everyone to be treated equally. And the next point, no one will be subjected to disability, liability, restriction, or condition with regard to shop, public restaurant, hotels, and place of public entertainment, and the use of wells, tanks, bathing arts. Means all the public places are open to everyone, and nobody can be stopped from going in those places on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Right? Let's move on to the next question. In what ways the Om Prakash Valmiki experience similar to that of Ansaris? So we studied religious inequality and caste inequality through a story of Om Prakash Valmiki. So we need to see how they are related. Om Prakash Valmiki belonged to a lower caste, due to which he was subjected to atrocities such as sweep the school. Do you remember the story? He was asked to sweep whole school and school ground. And Ansaris were not provided with the rented accommodation in the city, as they were discriminated on the basis of their religion. So they were not able to get an apartment for rent because of their religion. So that both Ansaris and Om Prakash were treated unequally on the basis of discrimination of caste and religion. So both of them dignity was hurt and they were treated unequally. Now, next question. What do you understand by all persons are equal before the law? Why do you think it is important in democracy? So, by the phrase all persons are equal before law, we understand that every person, from president of a country to a domestic worker, has to obey the same law. Every person is equal before law. If there is a law that you cannot do so and so thing, so if this law is same for president as well as the domestic worker. Law treats all citizens equally and makes no distinction on the basis of sect, caste, creed, or religion. So it does not make any kind of difference. Equality before law is one of the basic component of democracy. The democracy rests on this principle. Before law, everybody is equal. Democracy treats all people alike and makes no discrimination against person on any ground. Therefore, equality before law is important in democracy. So that's why it is very important in democratic situation. Let's move on to the next fifth question. Here is a fifth question where you can see a person on a wheelchair is being moved from on a stair. So the government of India passed a Disability Act in 1995. This law states that persons with disability have equal rights and that government should make possible their full participation in society. The government has to provide free education and integrate children with disability into mainstream schools. This law also states that all public places, including buildings, schools, and etc., should be accessible to provided with ramps. So this is a government disability act in which they should be treated equally and they should be given equal opportunity, plus all the public places, government buildings should have ramp so that they are not moved like this. So look at the photograph and think about the boy who is being carried down on the stairs. Do you think the law is being implemented? So as per the law there should be a ramp, but we do not see so. So do you think that law is being obeyed? What needs to be done to make the building more accessible for him? How would this being carried down the stair affect the dignity as well as safety? So we need to find out how this affects this person's dignity and safety. The boy in the photograph is being carried down the stairs by two security men. The boy is not being carried down the stairs by two security men. So a boy is not being carried out as the boy is carried down by security men, whereas there should be a ramp. The boy is not being implemented properly in this case. The law states that public places such as building and school should be accessible and provided with ramps. So you can see the ramp is missing, but the building shown in the photograph is not accessible for a person with physical disability. One has to climb the stairs to reach the building. It should have a flat ramp so that people with disability should reach in there, right? So ideally this building should have ramp. The boy being carried down the stairs by security men would make him realize helplessness. As the boy is being carried down by security men, but the person can get a feeling of helplessness, isn't it? It would also be unsafe for him as security men or boy may slip. So it is unsafe also. If anybody loses his balance, he may fall. So with this picture we come to know that the law is not being followed. The Disability Act of 1995 is not followed. So that's the NCERT questions of this chapter. Children, that's all for today, and tomorrow we'll start with History Chapter 1. Okay, thank you.